Well, we're here at PF International Raceway for event 11 of the Vera Tools British Kart Championships, and I've been joined by Formula 2 driver and former British Kart Championship driver Ollie Bearman, who joins us. Welcome, Ollie. Welcome back to a British paddock for the first time in, I would think, quite a while. Firstly, main question I want to bring to you, what brings you to PFI this weekend? Because like I say, it's been a while since you've been seen in a paddock.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been in a karting paddock, but no, I'm just here to support my brother. I had a weekend off, and no better place to spend it than at a racetrack. So yeah, he's racing in junior and it's the last round, so I'll try and give him some moral support. Exactly.
Well, support as well. Are you giving him any tips and tricks out there as well? Because of course you're a driver as well known in the junior category. So
yeah, I mean he knows more than I do, or at least he thinks he does. So no, I think sometimes I go karting with him on track, and we go together. But to be honest, he's faster than me. I think I'm a bit too tall for karting now, but he's got it under control. He's did a good quali this morning, so he's good.
Yeah, tall now, but back in the day, Honda Cadet racer. You were a renowned Honda Cadet racer as well, many years in it, and talk us about those years, because of course that seems like probably now a century ago, or well more than a century ago.
Yeah. So I started at a really young age. I was doing the British Championships when I was, I think, 8 already in Honda. So I spent a good few years there, kind of learning the trade and everything. And yeah, that racing really hardened me up and taught me racecraft that's useful to this day. So it's been a good stepping stone.
Yeah, and the kart tracks in the UK haven't changed much since when you were racing. And back then, what would have been your favourite track to race at? Because there are many in the UK still that are operational.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much the same ones that they go to nowadays. I quite enjoyed Raura, although it was a bit far. It was one of my favourite tracks, at least when the sun came out, so rarely. But yeah, PF was also a good one for the Kart Masters race and stuff like that. And some like Buckmore, closer to home. That was one of my first tracks that I'd been to, and I really enjoyed it there as well.
Yeah. With Thomas Racing, I'm sure he's got his rivals. Back in your junior karting days, were there any rivals that you had to contend with, deal with on a weekly basis?
I think my main rival, it was Harry Thompson. I remember we were like really fighting hard. We were like 9-10 years old, but it was like everything, we were, head to head. So that was really cool. He was on the Red Bull program as well. So yeah, when I was in Honda, he was, we were constantly raising each other's level, and he was kind of my main target in those days.
Yeah, and you, of course, you jumped from karting straight into Formula racing in itself. It was a big step for you, and you're a driver of one of not many who kind of missed out on jumping into the factory side of karting teams. You kind of went from kind of British champs, the smaller side of it, straight into Formula racing. And that in itself shows that for many of these drivers here in this championship, you don't need to go to a big factory team in karting. You can make that jump, and you're proof of that.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is, of course, that it's expensive to go out to Europe and do a lot of racing there. And the level here is really high. So yeah, I feel like you always see British drivers, especially in mixed conditions, they're always up there, and that's a testament to the fact that the level's really high of the drivers here, and that's all you need really. I think karting is just the baseline to learn racecraft and control of a kart or a vehicle, and then where it starts to get serious is F4, and it shows that you can. I managed to show that you don't need to go to Europe and race in the top level karting to be successful.
Yeah, and with that, you mentioned F4, a big jump, and jumping into an F4 car from karting, there's got to be, obviously, the main difference is obviously much more power, bigger vehicle, everything like that. But do you bring quite a bit of the karting world into Formula racing? Is there much difference in terms of the driving style, or is it completely different?
Yeah, I think looking like at the time F4 was a massive step, and it was almost kind of incomprehensible. Now looking back, it's quite a. I've driven faster cars since then, of course. But no, I think karting teaches you a lot about lines and stuff like that, of course. Racecraft is really useful, and it's kind of honed and polished in karting. But also the driving technique. It's just the way that they look at it in single seat is a lot more in depth. But you learn the basics here, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, the main things. You had a couple of years in that, then you made the jump. Now in Formula 2 with Prema, the season as well. I think you're sixth in the standings. So, you know, this season it's still been okay for you.
Yeah, it's been a bit up and down. There's been highs and lows, but you know, overall it's been okay. I look back at a few moments and kind of kick myself for some silly mistakes, but you know, it's a tough championship. The level's really high and the car's quite tough. So yeah, overall I'm happy with the progression we've made, and I feel like I've come a long way as a driver, but also mentally, which is really important.
Because I can imagine that, because you know, racing in Formula 2, a lot of the drivers in the championship, they want to make that big jump into the world of F1, and so many don't make the cut for that. You are one driver who has now started to dip his toes in the water of Formula 1, you know, with the test with Ferrari very recently. You know, you got to drive the SF21 in Italy, and, you know, talk us a little bit about that, because that must have been an amazing experience for you.
Yeah, I've got my foot in the door of F1, let's say. You know, it's not too much yet, but already to just get the FP1s was really a good achievement and a milestone. And to complete my first test just 3 days ago, I think, in Fiorano was really amazing. You know, to be in a red car in a Ferrari, first of all, it's a bit of a childhood dream, but also on that track, it's very iconic. You see videos of, you know, Schumacher, very, you know, people that I look up to pulling out of that garage, and now I've managed to do the same, so it was really nice.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's you can imagine it puts a weight on the shoulders, but now that you've done it and you've been part of that, you feel part of the Ferrari family, and you know, now, like you were saying there, with the news of Haas and joining free practice 1 in Mexico and at Yaz as well in the last round, it's going to mean you've got a busy end to the season as well, because does that mean both FP1 and Formula 2 on the same weekend that you've got to deal with?
Yeah, so yeah, it's really cool, of course, but also super busy. So in Abu Dhabi, I'm going to be doing the free practice in F2. I think staying in the paddock, going straight into the F1 car, and then back to F2. So it'll be a busy one. Then we got the postseason testing and everything, so that whole week's going to be pretty crazy. Then hopefully my brother will be racing the week after in the World Finals in Bahrain. So I'll be having a bit of a tour of the Middle East.
There you go. That's what you like to see, isn't it? And you know, with that, it comes to next year as well. Of course, obviously you can't say too much, but what is that next step for you? You're now dipping your toes, like we're saying, into the world of F1. Is it to go full jump into it, or is it going to be another season of maybe F2? I
think it looks like another year of F2. It doesn't really make sense to take a year out of racing, whether it be a reserve driver or something like that. And you know, I have a really good opportunity here to do a good job in F2. So yeah, my goal is, of course, to win F2 and give myself the best opportunity to jump into F1 after that. Yeah, exactly. Well, we look forward to seeing what happens for you next year, and best of luck for the rest of the season and in your tests in Formula 1. And enjoy the weekend here at PF. Enjoy a nice weekend off. Thank you very much. Thank you.